Alright, let's see what we got. The Dr. Dre effect. See, I'm one of them people, like I think I said it on the other video, like I just want to see like where did so much of the respect come from for Dr. Dre. Like he didn't make none of those beats. He never put out the album. He only thing I could see is, you know, that they started NWA and he used to make a lot of beats for NWA, but after that, like his biggest beats and shit, didn't Scott Storch make those? And wasn't Dre didn't really make beats. He was more of the engineer and shit like that. So I just want to see like why people love Dre so much. So if y'all could tell me in the comments, you know what I'm saying, put it in there. Let's talk about it.
It's with this kind of excitement and respect that Snoop Dogg and 50 Cent referred to Dr. Dre's appraisal.
And I give him that. He found a lot of legends. He found the 50s, the M, the Snoop, and all that type of shit. So that's definitely credited for something, but they make it seem like he's a great rapper, or he's a great producer, he's a great whatever. Nah, he's just great and all. He finds good talent.
When he listens to their music.
I'm not paying attention and I'm just watching him the whole time.
Snoop, are you doing the same thing?
I'm nervous, guys.
You're nervous.
Dre managed to work with many artists who are grateful to him for unveiling the talents they had in them. For example, Eminem considers that, above all, Dre saved his life.
I feel like Dre saved my life.
He said me saved his life. Wow, okay. I didn't know that.
This person is a perfectionist who practically never leaves the studio.
Sound like me.
I've been in the game close to 27 years, and I've actually thought about this just recently. Out of the entire 27-year career, there's only been 2 weeks that I've been out of the studio. I've never been out of the studio longer than 2 weeks in my entire career. That's how much love I have for this thing that I do.
What is it exactly that you're doing is what I want to know. The making the beats or the engineering part? Like, that's what we're talking about, the engineering?
Hancock Whitney has just made being in business so much easier.
I didn't know that. Fuck, I always wanted to know, like, what was the beats that he made? So once I heard all the ones that Scott Storch made, I'm like, damn, Scott Storch made damn near all these motherfuckers.
However, with such a flashy career, many forget what Dre has gone through. He had beefs, conflicts, scandals, a $100 million divorce settlement, and he once nearly came close to dying. So, in this video, let's talk about what Dr. Dre has gone through to become a legend.
Yeah,
it's very easy to make a hip-hop record.
What has he
It's not easy to make a good hip-hop record.
I need more of those.
My time to perfect the beat, and I still got love for the streets. It's the
Dr. Dre was born in Compton on the 18th of February, 1965, just 2 weeks after his mom turned 16. Dre had issues with his dad. According to his own words, his dad was insane. He was an abuser who could even inflict physical violence. He got hooked on drugs and left the family when little Andre hadn't yet spoken his first words. Unfortunately, he didn't have a good relationship with his stepdad either. He basically behaved in the same way as his biological dad. But he did get along very well with his younger brother, Tyree. At the beginning, Dre was into dancing. However, his mom told him there's no money in dancing, which is why he has to find another interest. His mom also recounted in an interview that Dre had always loved music from an early age. His uncle was the bouncer at a club in Compton, and he once let him in there. Curtis Blow was giving a concert there, while Curtis's younger brother was a DJ, and it was there that he heard scratching for the first time. He was stunned, and Dre understood that that is his calling. After that, he trained at home a lot, and his mom noticed that and decided to get him a gift and bought him a Newmark 1150 mixer. Andre lived a couple of blocks away from Eric Wright, whom we all know as Eazy-E. He hung out with him, and after one of the performances, the guys came to him for music to buy his cassette tapes. That's how he began earning money. And he understood that he needs to keep it up. And in the end, he began having performances at the local club. Later on, he became a member of the Wreckin' Crew group, in which DJ Yella was also a member of. There were 4 DJs in that
that's
group.
where Yella comes
However,
from,
him and Yella took on the responsibility of the entire work, which is why they became good friends and were joined at the hip. The guys became famous and performed every weekend.
They say I'm fine, so you better beware, because I'll blow your mind.
However, sometime later, the group started losing its popularity. Additionally, there were arguments going around.
Because they all look old. They look out that little old time look. The city was young. Or one of them was younger than Dre. He looked real fruity in this picture.
Between the members of the band, in regard to what kind of music to make. And this led Dre to the idea that it's time to leave, even though he was scared.
Hip-hop shit.
Yeah, he did believe in his own talent. However, he didn't have much instruments needed to make music, and he turned to his friend Easy, who also wanted to take part in the music business. And more precisely, he wanted to establish his own label.
He popped in the picture out of nowhere. Like, he told me he turned to his friend Easy, so him and Easy just been cool already. I thought Easy was a drug dealer at the time.
Dre wanted to make music for the streets, which is why he asked Cube to write a song for him, and he wrote Boys in the Hood, which was initially intended for the HBO group, but they didn't like the song. So Dre asked Eazy-E to record the track. He saw in him the street spirit and understood that he perfectly fits into the concept of the track, which is why he had to talk him into it, so that he could record the track. Eazy-E said that Dre had gone nuts because he didn't see himself as a rapper. Dre spent 2 hours convincing Eazy-E to record. In an interview, Ice Cube spoke about how that went.
Dre was like, yo, won't you do it, Cube? I was like, I'm in the group already. He looked at Eazy, like, won't you do it, man? You got a voice. Your voice is gonna sound good on the record. And he was like, hell no, man, what? Nah, man, that ain't how you say that line. Say it like this. So we was going back and forth. It took forever to get 2 or 3 lines out. So Dre was like, you know what? Everybody just leave. Everybody leave. I'm gonna work with this dude. Came back later on that night. They hadn't even finished the first verse. I was like, damn. I'm gone. I left again. Came back the next day. They was in the middle of the second.
I heard this story on the last one. Just watch.
In the end,
never sue the person who hit you after a car accident. Why go to court or pay expensive upfront legal fees?
Became a rapper. But when you know it do still sound like he just reading off of paper. It sound like he reading. But if you didn't know that, you'd be like, all right. But yeah, knowing it, it definitely, you could tell.
He created a group under the name NWA. And this song appeared on NWA and the Posse release. It's regarded as NWA's first but neglected album. The guys love playing paintball. One day, Dre, alongside Eazy, decided to create some commotion on the street, began shooting at cars from their paintball pistols, for which they were stopped by the police 10 minutes later and were handled extremely roughly. For some time, Dre had to show up to prison during the weekends, which led to the clubs being left without music, and that pissed off Ice Cube. He wrote the
in the movie, they made it seem like they stepped outside the studio, police harassed them, but then Jerry Hettler came out there, basically saved them, told them to get their ass back in the studio, and everything was good. So I didn't know he had to be going to jail, and I didn't know it was for shooting paintballs and all that shit.
Song,
they never said that part in the movies.
At the beginning, Dre didn't want to release something of this kind, as he was still showing up in jail. However, they persuaded him, and the track appeared on the Straight Outta Compton album. Despite the unbelievable pressure from the side of the FBI to shut down the performance of this song, NWA only got more popular from that, and nobody could censor them already. However, during a concert tour, a terrible tragedy took place in Dre's
the best thing they could have ever did was to do the song anyway. Even though the police said don't do it, like, fuck, nigga, I'm doing it. They're like, what you made it for then? You knew they was going to try to stop you, so they did that bitch anyway, and that's...
If you remember, at the beginning of the video, we spoke about his younger brother Tyree, with whom he was extremely close. Well, he was killed. A man came running out of nowhere and then struck him. Tyree broke his neck.
Damn.
And didn't regain consciousness.
Damn, I thought he got shot.
Tyree wanted to be just like his older brother. He also began rapping and wanted Dre to take him with him on tour. However, he advised him to stay home. Dre told DJ Yella that if
I remember Dre was saying he wished that he would have took him. It probably could have saved his life, and it probably could have. You don't know, but you can't blame yourself.
Had allowed him to come,
could have saved his
then
life.
This wouldn't have happened. Those around him noticed that it was then that Dre began drinking more often and just overall didn't seem happy, even despite the fact that his career had become successful. Dre says that each one of the losses he suffered in his life pulled him
So mind you, this how he got famous, this how he got successful and shit. But after the NWA thing, and he take a long ass break and never put out the album and this, that, and the third, he always just kept a legacy of from NWA, and people just loved and respected him from NWA. But I never really seen what was so special about him and what did he do. I heard he had the touch with that with the mixer, you know what I'm saying, getting your vocals just right, but
to the bottom.
Other than that,
he felt empty inside, and the thing that always saved him was working in the studio. There, he began working very closely with the
studio
DOC.
Used to be my fights, and used to be with where I feel safe at, but now it's like the gym and shit like that.
Who was able to fill the void inside him, giving the producer the motivation to make a cool album for the rapper. What he liked about the DOC was that he wanted to be the complete opposite of NWA, and he didn't even use curse words in his tracks.
I didn't know that.
Yo, man, that's the formula.
I didn't
but
know that.
At the same time, he liked partying and
like I said, that's another one, DOC. I know about DOC, and you know, supposed to be legendary, but I don't know a DOC song, DOC verse, none of that. I swear to God.
Drugs.
To you.
And
I just know of him.
One day, he made the
NWA
unreasonable
shit,
decision to get behind the wheel while being intoxicated. He fell asleep, and the car crashed into a tree.
Who that, Dre?
Could you use up to $750? Find it at BioLife. Up to $750 is waiting for you.
On my P's and Q's if I'm drinking.
This led to the fact that he, unfortunately, lost his voice.
I hit the center divider.
Yeah, Doc
and flew out of the back window of the car and ended up in a tree.
I had read that your teeth were actually in the
tree.
In the tree, they had to pull your teeth out of the actual tree.
Damn.
I don't know if they pulled them out or not, bro.
The hardships in Dre's career didn't end there. Jerry Heller offered the guys contracts. They all signed except for Ice Cube. He felt he was cheated out of royalties.
Smart nigga.
Because of that, Dre made a call to Cube and understood that his friend was scammed.
I felt that the person that I'm talking about on the record separated us.
In the end, Dre also decided to check his own contract. The DOC knew Suge Knight and asked him to check Dre's contract. And in turn, Suge gave the paper to Dick Griffey, who said that the producer is not receiving the money that he deserves. Dre continued working, but because the fans of the group thought that Cube was the spirit of NWA, they said that without him, the group won't succeed. This seriously hurt Dre. And truly, time passed and the issue with the money didn't subside. The atmosphere at NWA became worse and worse with each passing day. He was sick of it because Easy didn't want to figure out the deal with the contract. And Dre said,
Easy
it's
like
either
shit,
me
nigga. I'm getting paid. I'm getting my money that I'm supposed to be getting, and he ain't doing nothing. Well, Easy was rapping, so. Well, Easy was getting his money. Everybody else wasn't getting their shit.
Or Jerry.
I think Easy got played too at the end. Jerry was still getting more than all of them.
Easy responded saying that he could not fire Jerry. And with that, they parted ways.
You know, when you say they don't respect your talent, what exactly, do you mean?
I mean, I guess they took advantage of me not knowing the record business back in the day. But I know what's up with those numbers now. Can't be twig.
At that moment, Dre had the same feelings that he had when he lost his brother.
To me, I think that's the reason why Dr. Dre never put out that album, because he know he's overhyped up, and he know that people expect a certain thing from him, and if he put it out and people like, it's okay, it ain't really what I thought it would be, then he know it's gonna lose the hype behind him and the legendariness behind him if he put out a lackluster album that people been waiting for over fucking 20-something years, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's why he ain't never put that bitch out.
It was a terrible time for him, and he found solace in alcohol. Eventually, he was once drinking at a party and assaulted journalist Dee Barnes, whom he was angry at because of two separate interviews that aired together in the same segment on Pump It Up with Ice Cube and NWA.
That's the bottom line.
Bottom line, that's it. No more NWA.
Barnes says it was the producer's idea to put the two beefing artists' interviews together, but Dre wasn't trying to hear any of that. According to Dee, I quote, "He picked me up by my hair and my ear and smashed my face and body into the wall. Next thing I know, I'm down on the ground and he's kicking me in the ribs and stomping on my fingers. I ran into the women's bathroom to hide, but he burst through the door and started bashing me in the back of the head." Also, at that time, he was dating the singer Michelle Lay, who birthed his son in 1991. A couple of years later, they broke up, and according to the words of the singer, she had also been a victim of violence from the producer's side. According to the singer's own words, he broke her nose, cracked her ribs, and blackened her eyes. Jumping ahead, in 2015, Dre expressed remorse for his actions, saying, "I deeply regret what I did and know that it has forever impacted all of our lives. Any man who puts his hands on a female is a fucking idiot."
I bet you know that now, but back then you was that idiot. You was that aggressive nigga. Like, the fuck? And who knows how long that shit kept going and when he ever changed, if he ever changed.
And I was out of my mind at the time. I fucked up, paid for it, I'm sorry for it, I apologize for it.
Still not seeing the legendariness and the love why people love him yet, so I'm hoping it's getting there.
Also, he said that the assault had been like a dark cloud following him for the duration of his career. Later, Dre met up with DOC, who said he wants to establish his own label company with Suge Knight. The guys agreed that Dre would look for talents while Suge would supervise the processes. The first time Dre heard about Snoop Dogg was at his friend's party. Dre's stepbrother, Warren G. Dre's stepbrother, Warren G., advised him to listen to the rap of the Young Gangsta.
Damn, I ain't know Warren G was Dre's stepbrother. Taught me something with that.
They agreed about meeting up. Dre turned
G.
on a beat for Snoop, who began freestyling, and the producer was amazed by it. Snoop was surprised that, of all of the rappers who were around Dre, he chose precisely him. Dre regarded him in a special way, considering him a gem.
6187 on an undercover car. Creep with me as I crawl through the hood, maniac lunatic.
Generally speaking,
Snoop
Dre began working on his own album, The Chronic. It took from 8 months to a year to make this album. With this album, everything was put on the line. He poured his whole body and soul into it.
So he put out the album.
Buying it was no easy task. He went around every sound recording label in Los Angeles and flew to New York. But everyone refused to deal with this album. Most companies didn't want to get involved with Death Row because their contracts were connected to Ruthless Records. Thus, he needed to finally break off the contract with them. As Dre says, Eazy-E and Jerry Heller wanted him to come begging on his knees. Dre eventually organized a meeting with Eazy, but Suge Knight showed up instead of him. And he had to threaten Eazy to free the producer from the contract. He used a fake signature on the release form, which is why Dre will have to pay Eazy-E every 20% of each recording of his in the future.
So Eazy really didn't never signed over the shit. This nigga signed a fake name. Cause I always wondered about that. I'm like, so you just signed that bitch? I heard they threatened him and shit, but so that was smart. That nigga ain't never signed his real name. They never said that too. They never said that in real life.
For the next 6 years, and they couldn't do nothing about it. Anything Dre produced, everything that they put out.
Recording of his in the future.
And he ended up getting 20% of everything that they put out for the next 6 years, and they couldn't do nothing about it. Anything Dre produced or made over there.
See, they don't talk about that. They don't
in 1992, no one
Smart
wanted
business moves from Eazy
to get
I
involved
thought y'all had one
with gangster rap because of the pressure received from society. A couple of months ago, Dre interestingly spoke out about why music can influence us so strongly.
You have movies where they're killing like 1,000 people in it and nothing is said. That's because music has the ability to touch your soul, and it's a different type of touch. It's a different type of experience when you're listening to music.
All right, back to the topic at hand. The only one who decided to take responsibility for this music was Jimmy Iovine from Interscope Records, who was
only person who could touch your soul is motherfucking Rod Wave.
Amazed by the quality. In the end, Jimmy even paid radio stations for some time to play Dre's music. And when all the problems were resolved, The Chronic was finally released.
All right. So The Chronic
Big ideas.
was released.
Don't come easy.
And did it do good?
Like that and like this and
Oh, that was when it had all them songs. So it must be The Chronic 2 that he been holding on to.
The album occupied third place in the Billboard 200. The record even sold more than 3 million copies in the United States and was RIAA certified as triple platinum a year after it was released, which led to Dre being in the top 10 selling American performing artist of that year.
So The Chronic
which,
made him
as you can understand,
legendary.
served as a great success for hip-hop, especially if you remember the amount of hate that was directed towards this genre at that time.
Oh yeah, he did. have
Dr.
some
Dre's
slaps on it. I
production
remember
was
a couple
credited
of
for the
them songs.
popularization of G-Funk in gangster rap.
I remember all of them
He
songs.
also used this high-pitched synthesizer in NWA. But in The Chronic, he perfected this sound, and this synthesizer became super popular, which many associated with the GTA San Andreas soundtrack. Briefly speaking, this album became widely known as one of the most important and influential albums of the 1990s. And it is regarded by many fans and colleagues as one of the best produced hip-hop albums of all time. In addition to that, The Chronic kickstarted the hip-hop careers of many artists of the West Coast, including the earlier mentioned Snoop Dogg, and also Daz Dillinger, Kurupt, Nate Dogg, and Warren G.
He is this big-time gangster, right? You know, what's the man?
Also, in this album, in the intro and in Dre Day, Dre and Snoop diss Eazy-E and Jerry Heller.
Fuck Mr. Rourke and Tattoo, aka Jerry and Easy. Threw up with niggas you grew up.
Snoop, you hopped in that beef for your mans, cause you ain't had shit to do with you at all. So
don't even respect your ass.
This is how Eazy-E responded to the Dre Day diss track in a unique way.
Basically, you can diss me all you want, but I'm gonna get paid. Cause that's why I say Dre Day is only Eazy's payday. And that's real.
Smart businessman. I
Eazy
respect it.
also dissed Dre in his own tracks, calling him a dancer and all that. But his coolest diss track was released under the name of Real Mother G's.
Motherfucker Dre, motherfucker Snoop, motherfucker Death Row. Yo, and here comes my love.
The next project that the protagonist of our video worked on was Doggy Style.
I gotta hear
This
that
is
whole
Snoop
song,
Dogg's
cause,
debut album, which
Cube wasn't writing for him at this time, so either somebody else was writing or he wrote that shit.
became a classic
I was about to say that
and
trash
the most
ass
popular
shit, but I ain't
in
gonna
his
say it till I
discography.
hear it all the way.
Like every day, and I'm right back up in you with Dr. Dre.
Later on, yet another unfortunate incident took place for Dre. Even though he could have learned a lesson from the DOC story to never get behind the wheel.
They need to talk about when he first met Scott Storch and when did Scott Storch first started making beats for him or with him.
While under
That's
the
what I wanna
influence,
know.
he once also decided to get behind the wheel while drunk. And thankfully, nothing terrible happened. It was just that the police stopped him and arrested him.
I remember this.
He eventually spent 5 months behind bars, and it was there that he
Talking
finally
jazz to
decided
him,
to
like-
rethink his lifestyle and reflect on who surrounds him, what kind of influence these people have on him. Spending time in prison turned out to be a transitional period for him, and while he was in prison, Eazy-E stopped working with Jerry Heller and wanted to reunite NWA. Dre agreed to that, but unfortunately, the plan was never meant to be fulfilled, as Eazy-E was diagnosed with AIDS-induced pneumonia. Dre went to the hospital to visit Eazy-E, who was already in critical condition, whispered a couple of words to him, and left. This was their final meeting.
You can't tell me Suge ain't do that
March,
shit. That nigga said we'll change
Eric
it
Wright
forever.
passed
Nigga
away.
call give you that Eazy-E. You can't
This
tell me
was a very
Suge
difficult
ain't do
time
that.
for Dre. And to add to all that, that very Source Awards event took place where East and West Coasts became enemies after Suge Knight dissed P. Diddy, which of course, nobody expected, particularly Dre.
Any artist out there want to be an artist and want to stay a star and don't want to have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the videos, all on the records, dancing, come to Death Row.
Legend tell it. They say Suge told Puff that he wasn't even talking about him. He said he was talking about Jermaine Dupri. And who knows? That could be true.
Pac got out of jail.
And they ain't show it, but when he walked off stage, and your boy Elbow hit him all in the face.
Then
you
later,
man. I was
Pac
joked
got
out
out
when I
of
seen
jail
that.
and began working with Dre.
We are out here at the California Love video. Dr. Dre, Tupac, we getting busy. Oh,
Chris Tucker. What the hell Chris Tucker doing there?
This seemed like something special for everyone, as
Then
they're
Chris
two
Tucker
cool
end up in motherfucking Ice Cube for his movie. That's crazy.
artists who do a lot of interesting stuff. But things took an absolutely unexpected turn. Suge and Pac had a plan, which was to destroy Bad Boy Records. which is why the atmosphere at Death Row became totally different. It became more violent. The sound engineers could get beaten up, and some random people would show up at the studio. And, in turn, Dre was against all of that, but couldn't do anything about it. And it all led to Dre leaving Death Row without receiving a single cent for all of the work that he had done.
Damn.
As the DOC said in an interview.
I didn't know that. I didn't know he didn't get paid for nothing. That was a waste of time over there.
I don't think that Suge understood that it was Dr. Dre who was behind all of that power and all that was good. Although, I think he understood, just as well as Tupac did as well. So the guys started talking shit about it, even though it seemed like Dre left without even asking for anything in return. And even after he left, he never insulted the guys from Death Row.
He knew better, really. He knew not to play with Pac or shit. It's funny, what if Dr. Dre the one who set up Pac and shit?
A year later, Tupac
Maybe it was meant to get rid of both of them, but Pac was the only one who, because Suge got hit too, you hear me? But he just was so big, it's easy to survive them bullets. But what a Dre set that up? Yeah, man. Who knows?
And many of those in Death Row understood why Dre left the label company. In turn, Dre now had an arch nemesis, and that's Suge Knight.
But why? If I didn't ask
For
you
example,
nothing, Suge.
there's a legend that was spoken about in the documentary film The Death Row Chronicles, stating that after Dre quit the label, he took with him many of the masters, which pissed off Suge Knight. Suge tried intimidating the producer, but nothing worked. We'll get back to Knight in a bit. For now, let's take a look at what happened with Dre after leaving Death Row. After leaving, he got married to Nicole and started his own label company called Aftermath. And it seemed like everything was going the way it was supposed to. But no. At first, there was a flopped album called Aftermath, in which he tried experimenting a bit.
Every day, trips to Montego Bay with more chips than Frito Lay.
And then there was yet another unsuccessful release with the Firm Group.
But it was sound like it was stuck in the time from the Chronic, you know what I'm saying? And then time in the past, you in the 2000s and shit now, you can't be making that same type of music. That shit trash in the 2000s, so that was all of the difference.
He was considering which direction he needs to take and move forward.
2000s? Nah,
One day, him and Jimmy Iovine were sitting and listening to recordings of different artists. And this is when Dre stumbled across Eminem's record and said,
"What the f is this? I really need to meet this guy."
They got in contact with Marshall, and he later flew to LA. The guys went to the studio, and in the very first second, M said,
"Hi, my name is Chicka Slim Shady." He played me the beat, and it was like instantly I just started saying it, like, you know, the beat started talking to me like, "Hi, my name," like I started like doing the hook, and he looked at me kind of funny like, "You can use that as a hook?" You know?
And after he finished, he didn't like it and asked Dre to turn the beat back on. Dre was like, "Yo, are you crazy? Let's just punch." The track was recorded from the first try.
I just went in and like freestyled some verses, and then I hadn't had them wrote yet, and just went home that same night.
Dre was shocked at just how many racists were around him. Those close to him told him not to associate with Eminem because he's an extremely provocative rapper. His future is totally vague. Oh, and he's even white with
got the tramp stamp on his wrist.
Blue eyes. Dre didn't care for others' opinions, and he put everything on Marshall and tried to sign him as fast as possible. The guys began making history. At the beginning, they issued a re-release of the Slim Shady record, which was already not an EP, but an LP. The release gave Eminem an unbelievable boost, and Dre, in turn, was able to reboot his own career.
My name is what? Excuse me. My name is now you got
right behind the videos too.
My name is now all you gotta do is nibble on this little chicken's earlobe.
Yo, this girl's only 15 years old.
Beat for me, I'ma even the score equally. Take you on Jerry Springer and beat your ass legally.
And then Dr. Dre released yet another legendary album called 2001.
I mean, there's a lot of haters out there that was saying, you know,
when I hear it now, I'm like, those beats trash.
Fell off and what have you.
I'm sorry, sue me.
That was probably my biggest motivation for this record. You know, it's like, okay, this is my Shut the F Up album. Pow, take that. Now what? Now what do you have to say?
It's the one and only Digo Double G.
The album debuted at number 2 on the U.S. Billboard 200 chart, selling 516,000 copies in its first week. This work gifted us many legendary songs, which became hip-hop classics.
That Lil Flip.
The hood rats still shake it for me. All my true fans still check it for me.
When Eminem signed a contract with Dre, he was told that it's cool he's working with them, but he already fell off. So, Marshall had to respond to those so-called critics.
Like they got something to say, but nothing comes out when they move their lips. Just a bunch of gibberish, and motherfuckers act like they forgot about Dre.
The main track in his career is still D.R.E. I wanted to stop a bit and expand on it because in this track, Dre basically talks about his ups and downs, and that, despite everything, he continues to make hit songs, and he continues to be the same person he always was.
Taking my time to perfect a bit, and I still got love for the streets. It's the D.R.E.
It wasn't Dr. Dre who wrote the hit song, and it wasn't even Snoop Dogg. It was Jay-Z. The main thing that Jay-Z needs when he writes for someone else is to walk in their shoes, to understand what exactly ignites the spark.
Back in my day when we first heard that, I don't think nobody knew that Hov had wrote that shit. But when you go back and listen to it knowing it, then you like, I could hear it. But the people didn't know that shit back then. I think it's a lot of people by telling me, Hov had wrote that verse for Dr. Dre. Nigga be like, what?
The artist. He had a task, which was to write the text in such a way that the track sounds entirely natural coming from the artist's side. Snoop Dogg recounted how that was.
We're in here writing this song, struggling with this beat. We can't come up with shit. It's like the fourth day. Nigga, Dr. Dre fly a nigga from New York into LA. We all in the studio. 30 minutes later, that nigga shit is done. He wrote Dre shit and my shit. And it was flawless. And me and DOC was like,
wrote for Snoop.
Well, looks like this nigga outstruck us on this one. So we're gonna take the back seat and I'm gonna accept it. And it was still Dre and it was Jay-Z and he wrote the whole song.
And Scott Storch recounted how the legendary melody for the track was created.
Dre programmed this kick and snare, and I was just noodling on the piano, and I started playing bling, bling, bling on top of this drum pattern that he had. And he poked his head in, and he was like, that's it.
So was that the first one that he did?
Dre continued working with Eminem.
Slim Shady, yes, I'm the real Shady. All you other Slim Shadys are just imitating, so won't the real Slim? Let's get down to business. I don't got no time to play around. What is this? Must be a circus.
See, Eminem made like Dr. Drake beats be like relevant. He didn't make it like he was spitting some shit to make it cold, but like when you really listen to them beats, those beats is so West Coast and just so, I guess the West Coast people love it, but I don't know, man. Like it was cool, but it was the Eminem, it was the people who was rapping on it. Eminem, 50 Cent, and all those type of people. They made it relevant and made you say, oh, all right, I like Dr. Dre beats. But a lot of people, if you had heard them in a lineup and niggas just played some beats, you wouldn't pick those beats. But when Dre giving it to you, you gonna take those beats for sure. Nigga giving you a Dre beat, you gonna take it.
Well, after that, Eminem introduced 50 Cent to Dr. Dre, and together, they embarked on a journey in the making of the Get Rich or Die Trying album.
You know, we decided that I was gonna do half of the first album and Eminem would do the other half. And my experience working with 50, it was only about 7 days in the studio. I spent 7, maybe no more than 9 days, I'm not sure. For my entire half, you know what I mean?
Damn.
He would put up a track, he would write it, spit it, and go, yo, put up another, put up another, put up another.
Easy to see when you look at me. If you look closely, 50 don't back down. If I can't do it,
but you could, like I said, you could hear the ones that's produced by Dre, like they all sound the same, and I hate that. But that's his niche, I guess.
Well, we can't just overlook
He only got 2 of them on that album.
Song In the Club. Dre was one of the producers of this song, which became the main one in 50 Cent's career. According to Dre's words, he didn't even expect the track would become such a big hit.
Honey in the club, bottle full of bub. Mama, I got what you need if you need to fill a bub.
I usually don't go to Dre or come nowhere near him until I have music to put pressure on him. I play music that I made with other producers and other people. It's hot, and then he'll go, oh no, I got something. Look, watch this, look. And when you play it, then you be like, oh shit, I got a hit now.
Although the song 21 Questions was not produced by Dre, he asked his friend Nate Dogg to perform the chorus, which only made the track better.
It's easy to love me now. Would you love me if I was down?
It sound like some shit Dre would have
Dre
produced.
didn't want 21 Questions, which was a hit, to be on Get Rich or Die Trying?
Yeah, he said, I don't know why you want it. Why I wanted the record. Cause I'm like, damn, man, I gotta do all these motherfucking push-ups.
Right, for nothing.
The girls are like,
As they say, even the best of us make mistakes. At that time, Dr. Dre found yet another talented rapper called The Game. He made a few hit works for him, such as Hate It or Love It and How We Do.
This is how we do. We make a move and act the fool while we up in the club. Either the love it, the underdogs on top. And I'm gon' shine, homie, until my heart stop. Go ahead, envy me.
Also, from the year 2002, he was promised an album which got the name Detox. Every year, Dre would say, not yet, just a little while longer. However, he threw away this project and said he wouldn't return to Detox any longer because he just didn't feel a connection with this album. He continued producing tracks for other artists, but he worked the most with Eminem. Together, they recorded the album Relapse. At the time, Dre worked diligently in the promotion of his own headphones, called Beats by Dre, together with Jimmy Iovine. Dre was offered to create his own line of sneakers, but he's not into trendy fashion senses. And what's even more is that he prefers sticking to just one and only pair of shoes.
That's Monday.
That's Monday.
Okay, where your Tuesday joint?
Tuesday.
Okay, Tuesday.
Wednesday. Thursday. Friday.
Great White Air Force. G9.
Thus, he just stuck to headphones. As you all know, these headphones became super popular. And, at the same time, basically almost every single celebrity was seen wearing them.
He should have
Sad
kept
news out of Los Angeles today. It was confirmed this morning that the 20-year-old son of hip-hop star Dr. Dre was found dead in his home on Saturday.
In 2008, another tragedy took place that sank Dre into depression once more. His son, Andre Young Jr., passed away from a drug overdose.
Damn.
However, he once again managed to find the power to pull himself together. And in 2011, him and Eminem recorded the song I Need a Doctor. This is his testimonial of the role of music in his recovery. At the end of the video, you can see Dre visiting Eazy-E's grave.
The car crash, I think, is just metaphorically speaking, like, you know, feels like Dre's been in a coma. Like, me and hip-hop are trying to wake him up.
Yeah, he was missing for a little minute before he did something. It came back cocky out of nowhere.
So somehow one of your tapes ends up in Dr. Dre's hands and he goes, oh, this kid's got it.
I think a YouTube video as well.
Yeah.
I can take credit for is opening the door for him. Because he's done everything himself. Him and Dave Free.
Kendrick said that he was a fan of his from a very young age. And he even once walked in on the shooting of the music video California Love, where he saw Tupac and Dre with his own eyes. By the way, would you be interested in a documentary on Kendrick? Let us know in the comments.
Can y'all make some noise for Kendrick, motherfucker?
I watched that whole performance. That shit was dope.
In 2014, a very important and interesting event took place for Dre. He sold Beats by Dre to Apple for $3 billion and $200 million.
Another level. Billionaire Boys Club for real, homie. Huh? Fix your face. Fix your face.
Know that.
Oh,
I see why he sold
shit.
it.
The Forbes list just changed. They need, hey,
He
it
made
came
that
out
$3
like
billion.
2 weeks ago. They need to update
Probably
the
went
Forbes
to the
list.
few years.
But after this video where him and Tyrese were bragging about the deal came out, it apparently broke a confidentiality agreement. The breach ultimately brought the deal down from 3.2 to $3 billion. The next major event in Dre's life became the filming of the Straight Outta Compton movie. This film is considered one of the best about hip-hop, even though it contains a few falsely depicted moments.
Right.
But it is, above all,
Some
a
missing
movie and not a documentary. So we shouldn't be taking it too seriously. Inspired by the filming of the movie, Dre released his third solo album under the name Compton.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know he released another album. So he scrapped that other album that took so long. And then he making a whole different album. Alright. He still was making music. Yeah, I thought he'd just be disappearing and just didn't only make one album. That's what I literally thought he only made The Chronic. I didn't know he had all these other albums. But the other albums didn't do nothing.
But unfortunately, there was one person who ruined everything and brought yet another tragedy into Dre's life. I'm talking about Suge Knight. During the shooting of the movie, Suge met up with Terry Carter and Clay Sloan. The guys had a falling out. And then Knight got in a car and ran over them. Which caused Terry Carter
that was who he ran over, and that's why he injured. This nigga Suge crazy.
Die on the spot, while Clay Sloan miraculously escaped a fatal outcome and remained alive. As Dre says, Terry was a good person who raised 12 adopted children. Suge turned himself in to the police the next day, saying that he went to the shoot to meet up with Dr. Dre. Actually, this entire time, Suge Knight was after Dre for a full 28 years, with no particularly understandable reason. Many think that this was just regular jealousy. When Dre left Death Row, matters got significantly worse on the label. Dre made hit tracks while Suge sat in prison for a probation violation. And then, after he was freed, he couldn't even get the once most famous influential label company back on its feet, which is why for the next few years, he attempted to screw with Dre. How? Well, for example, Dre's second album was initially supposed to be called Chronic 2000, but Suge snatched the name for a Death Row album, and Dre had to change it to 2001. Then Suge interfered with the shooting of the In the Club music video, attempted to disrupt the ceremony in 2004 by ordering an attack on Dre for $5,000, and so on. We have a detailed video on the channel about why Suge wanted to kill Dr. Dre. You can check it out. And in fact, if you examine the pattern, where Dre was, things always went well there. NWA's best time
what if Dre tried to get Suge out of there? You hear me? And that's when the Tupac thing happened.
was with Dre. Death Row's best time was under Dre. The Game, 50 Cent, and Snoop's most popular albums were their works with Dre. Yeah, even Prime Eminem was always with Dre.
All right.
I'm gonna go ahead and be out and I'll meet you.
I get it. I didn't get it at first, but I get it.
You sure you
I see legendary status in
you say you don't want the drama, I'm gonna go ahead and let you do your thing.
My music isn't for everybody. You know, I just love recording.
Tell old boy
it's
who
for
made
my
this
friends
video
and family,
Bun B.
and
we know why Bun
really
B is a legend.
just for me.
In 2021, the hip-hop community was fearful and very worried over Dre when he ended up in the hospital because of a brain aneurysm. Doctors thought that he wouldn't make it. The legendary producer admitted that the doctor called his family into the room to say their goodbyes. This is what he said. They didn't let anyone come close because of COVID. Guests, relatives, nobody. Then they let my family come to me. Later on, I found out they called them so they could get the chance to say goodbye to me. Dre said he suffered 3 strokes during those 2 weeks. The artist was also told that he had high blood pressure, which he said came as a surprise because he maintained a healthy lifestyle. The doctor said that he cannot imagine just how lucky he was to survive. And also, in that very same year, he finally burned the bridge with his now ex-wife, Nicole Young, who birthed 2 of his kids, and whom he was with for 24 years. At the beginning, she filed for divorce in 2020, claiming that she was subjected to ill treatment and she was suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. In court documents, she said that he put a gun to her head twice and punched her with a fist to the head.
He never got over being an abusive nigga. He was abusive to every woman that he came in encounter with. That's just
in the years of 1999 and 2000.
Probably when he drank.
Dre himself strongly denied the accusations, saying that had never happened.
I believe
this divorce cost Dre a full $100 million.
Damn.
Nicole got all of her jewelry and 4 vehicles as well. A Rolls Royce, a Range Rover, an Escalade limousine, and a Spider motorbike. Dre himself was visibly glad that his ex-wife only got a 1/5 of his liquid assets, and that she would have received more had she divorced earlier. By the way, she agreed to a prenup when the couple got married in 1996, which she later denied, claiming that it was signed under coercion. There's an unreleased song by Dre online where he disses Nicole, calling her a greedy.
I see you try to fuck me while I'm in surgery, and I see you deathbed on some money. Greedy bitch, take a pic, yeah, you know how money.
And now let's end the video on a good note. In 2022, a legendary
you
event
see
took
who really on your side when you on your deathbed, boy. Who leave, who trying to get the money, who think you're out of there, and then you survive and you pull through. Shit. Boy, I get rid
which
of
we will
too.
always remember. And it was none other than the Super Bowl halftime show that Dr. Dre was responsible for. And with him on stage, there were all the people he knew. Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, Kendrick Lamar, and 50 Cent. How many times did you watch it? Let us know in the comments.
50 was looking big doing everything.
Even despite all of his tragedies, all of the ups and downs, Dr. Dre became the most legendary and influential producer in the hip-hop industry. And he's not planning on ending his career just yet. This year, he's releasing collaborative albums with Snoop and Eminem, which we're eagerly waiting
Everybody
for.
who he put on still like some big names in the game who we can always still go back and collab with to this day.
The next video that I recommend you watch is the history.
Nah, this was good. I got a lot of informative information out this. Cause like I said, I was sleep on Dr. Dre. I know everybody love him and shit, but I was like, what made him so fucking great? But that just reminded me and woke me up of all the people he put on, all the stuff he did, all the records he did produce. But once I had seen that shit about the about Scott Storch, and I had thought Scott Storch made half of them fucking beats, you hear me? Because I heard at least 10 of them that Scott Storch made that I thought Dr. Dre made, you know what I'm saying? But I like this. If y'all like this, man, let's talk about it. Put it in the comments. Like, comment, and subscribe while you at it, you know?
Don't do it for the boy, just do it for the boy, just do it for the boy.